We are out taking the dog for a walk, and I got the camera going, and this is my time to make content. This is the first real dog walk I've been on in a little bit, day or two, because family needs things. You provide things for the family. And so I'm out here in a t-shirt for the first time in so long, and the weather is beautiful and the birds are chirping. The sun is shining, the grass is greening. There is a changing of the seasons, and it is spring. It is gorgeous. The dog is very happy. I am very happy. And as I like to tend to take my lived experience and crowbar in some farm marketing, that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna talk about seasonality in our marketing. Quick tip, philosophy, a framework for thinking, some actionable insights, then I'm gonna get on with this dog walk. So I'm gonna slow down, I'm gonna take a breath. I get out of breath. I get so excited when I turn on the camera to talk to you. I got a text from Sydney today, so I'm thinking about Sid. And then, yeah, let's get into the seasonal market. I mean, it's just beautiful. So it's spring, and the days are getting longer. The seasonal affective disorder is lifting, and generally us in New England are becoming happier people. And that is a wonderful thing. With that fresh flush of grass, there's food everywhere for your animals. It's beautiful, it's wonderful. It's the end of April, beginning of May. And ideally, in an ideal world, you've planned out your year. You know what you're gonna produce in 2025, because you gotta put bird orders in, you gotta put processing dates in. Some of your processing dates, depending on where you are in the country, now have to be scheduled out like 12 to 18 months in advance, because there's not a lot of infrastructure for small scale farming. It just isn't. And so you know when the chicks are coming in, how long they're gonna be in the brooder, when they go through that magical transformation of moving out to the field, and then how long they're gonna be in the field and when your processing days are. And in that structure, you've been doing your grazing planning, which I have a whole bunch of free content that I produced with my good friend Troy Bishop about how to manage your grass in an ideal scenario for whether it's ruminants or your chickens. And why we did that, why go through all that energy? I don't make any money on that grazing content, by the way. That is just out there for the goodness of my heart. I'm not raising 4 cows. I'm gonna make other use cases and examples. There's now people using that system that is just a simplified version of the NRCS grazing plan and holistic management. I just took what are the core elements and make it really actionable really quickly. And we do that, we manage our pastures and our grass because that's the value that we're building into our livestock. Grass-fed chicken, eggs, beef, pork, whatever. Let's not get into the nuances of who has a rumen and who doesn't. But we're gonna broadly categorize this area of agriculture as pasture-based systems. It takes extra energy, thought energy, managing your land. Oh, I live in a swamp. And that extra energy, that extra toil, the planning, the logistics that you do, that's a value that you're selling to your customer. So your farm marketing starts at your grazing planning because you're building value into your product. Sure, with the, sorry, sure, with the goals that you want to save the planet and sequester carbon and combat man-made climate change and do good for your local communities and all that stuff. That, hooray for us, right? We've got these great goals. At the end of the day, you have to sell that value and there has to be a market for it. Otherwise, you're gonna go out of business. And we're still stuck with the same rules of being in small business. And so we're building that value in. We can quantify it because we do soil tests, we measure carbon, but none of our audience, our customers, really give two flying hoots about that. Some of them do. Some of them dive deep, and that's great. And you may find a whole bunch of those people depending on where you live. But at the end of the day, is it a healthy local product produced in an honest way with daily motion as we talk about pasture-based livestock? And so it starts with a good grazing plan, some soil testing, but that's just your own personal logistics. You're not selling your grazing plan. But a grazing plan offers you the structure and the organization to know when you're going to have animals out on pasture. It also lets you highlight when your processing days are. And then with your processing days, those are days where you're holding inventory. In an ideal world, depending on your business model, you will sell out of that inventory before you even have it in your hands. And that way, you just have to deliver the production and your stuff is sold, and you don't have to turn on the freezers. But there's going to be people who turn on the freezers. They want to stretch out that inventory. They haven't sold all the stuff ahead of time. And when you turn on the freezers, the longer you hold product, the more money it costs. Because now you're paying for electricity and storage. That storage takes place in a building on a piece of property that you're paying money for. So all these little tiny costs add up over time, just eat away at your viability at running a farming enterprise, whatever size and scale you want, homesteading to full size. And so with that seasonality, bringing it all to marketing, if you hear the social media gurus and the internet marketing gurus say, oh, you should be publishing every day, or you should be publishing 4 times a week. I talked with Brian about publishing 3 times a week. That content gets pretty thin in the winter, I will say. And in the winter in New England, my customers don't always want to hear it. A good reminder now and then of better times to come. Maintain that relationship so it doesn't go cold. Great. But when you're so busy and so strapped for time, money, resources, whatever, signing up for a regular marketing effort is very daunting. And so when you sit down to do your grazing planning, you're adding value in there. And you can do a few things with that planning and organization. It's a good time of year for this. We're going to pause here so I can breathe and finish the video podcast thing that I'm doing. Whew! Oh God, it's so beautiful out here right now. And so now we have this plan, we have this framework, we have our grazing plan, we know where our rotations are going to be of our animals out on pasture. And in that, we know when we're going to have inventory and where we need to make money and where we want to make money. And so we can start to overlay that with our marketing. If you're starting 2 months out from processing day, what videos, what are the talking points that you need to sell in 30 seconds at a clip of how you're raising it, who you are, how you got to where you are, what is your practice, what are your practices, what is your feed regimen, what are all the little things. Some of those videos might have potential virality because they're cute and you're charming and you've been practicing making content and selling the definition of pastured poultry with regular motion of animals out on pasture, not stuck in a pen or in a barn. And some of those are gonna hear crickets, but there's value in even those cricket videos because when you need to send an email newsletter or you want to update your website, you have that video to share because you've captured the moment and you've shared it in ways that when that audience is ready to hear it, they have access to it. We're farmers, we plant trees. You know, you plant trees so that your grandkids can sit in the shade. You know, we're used to longer timelines. Makes sense in your mind, put it all together of having those moments where the farm is its most beautiful and you're just falling in love with it. It's why farmers work harder than most other occupations, and they are so tied into a low margin job that is so intrinsic in their lifestyle because it's so beautiful, and being out in nature and having these moments where everything is clicking and the birds are grazing, the cows are grazing, you hit that crunch noise when the cow wraps its tongue around a grass and rips it off. Like, if you know, you know. Those magical moments That after the chores are done, when you sit and watch the animals live in the positive, nourishing environment that you've created for them. Look at this dog, for those of you on video, who's sitting in the trail in the fresh little buds of green, having the best old time right now in the sunset. And these beautiful moments, we get them from linger grazing. You do all the chores, and then you do the most critical part. You sit and you observe. You look at how all the little things and how they affect the big things. How is the grass growing? How are your animals eating it? How is that water working out? How is your new pen design keeping the animals in or not? All those little things that add up to the holistic picture of your farm. There's a glory of wonder in that little moment, that moment of Zen. And you, at least for me, I can't project onto you, but at least for me, I feel gratitude in those moments. And through gratitude, optimism is sustainable. And in a world where things are tough, because it is just an interesting time to live in. And so if you can hang on to those moments that make you happy, and you can share that optimism with other people while selling your product genuinely, you're going to make a connection. You're going to build a relationship. You're going to be doing your marketing very naturally. Your videos can serve multiple functions. I set up videos and myself doing farm chores, which gets views on the YouTubes, but it's also a time and motion study to say, you know, if you were watching this with one of your farm hands, are they taking extra steps? Are they going around the back of the chicken tractors when they could have gone around the front? Where's the feed barrel in position to where your things are set up? So there's a nice scientific layer to creating this data set of video capture that you might use for marketing. Did I lose some of you there? That's fine. I'm getting romantic because it is sunset and I'm out with my dog who's now walking away. And if you don't take the video, if you don't stop and have those moments, you don't have to take any video, you don't have to take your phone out. I take my phone out because I like to take photo and video of those moments so I can share them with the people that mean the most to me. And for a business owner, that's your customers. For me, it's my family and friends and some customers. And so I learned to appreciate those moments in time, that seasonality of things changing, the buds coming out on the trees, the birds waking up and doing their thing, and having animals out and about on your farm, not my farm right now. I have no animals right now. You take and you share those moments so that you're building that relationship, sharing the magic of what we do and how it's different than how other people produce chickens. And that's the intoxicating feature that I have found resonate with people time and time again. So I hope today you find a moment to linger graze, that you've listened to this podcast and you say, all right, I'm going to do the 3 days a week like Brian says. I'm going to do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And on Tuesday, I'm going to do a production video. On Thursday, you're going to do a community video where you're answering a specific question, you're responding to feedback, you're referencing a specific farm customer. And on Saturday, you're going to lead in with something fun and then switch to sales, where here are the cute baby chicks that we're caring for, and we're here with product at this market at this time, or visit our website to place a pre-order or whatever. But that jab, right hook, where you give, and then you ask. You always start with giving, start from a place of gratitude and optimism, share your story, share your methodologies, be in love with what you do so much that you have to preach it from a hilltop, and you will go places with your farm marketing. We'll get into the specific tactics of that. If you have any tactical questions, leave them in the comment section for this video. And until next time, I will see you out in the field.